It's either this or Prime Cyberverse RC that is my first female Transformer. But the former has a more interesting story, being bought from a store in Hong Kong. That store also had Masterpiece Ironhide and Bumblebee 1.0. I had 3 choices and chose the one with the coolest looking alt mode, and I still do this. Well, with that out of the way, let's get into the review proper. As this came out years ago, 2015, and it was owned by a kid, it's not in a great shape. Legs are really wobbly, and there's actually significant wiggle room at the ratcheted knees, causing her to sometimes be imbalanced, so you have to really adjust it. The back of the elbows also have some red from the red plastic, and I don't know why that happened. The plus side is that I can't really find any paint chips, which is better than nothing, I guess. Speaking of nothing, viewing her from the top exposes a rather unsightly void. The back view doesn't help either. I can sort of understand this, as due to a transformation there is not enough mass to bulk up the upper body, resulting in the designers essentially having to hide it. I am curious to see if the car can make a 2.0 of this mode, but I feel like they won't bother remaking characters unless they are marketable, like Megatron, Optimus, Bumblebee. Still, this figure has its good points, like the legs, having no hollowness at all. All the other figures that came out had some, but this is the first one that I owned from this era that had no hollow bits. That's nice. The feet are also covered just enough that you would not notice that they are not actually connected to the lower legs. Well, conventionally of course. They're actually connected, if you can, yep, to the side. No connection here, it's connected to the side piece. That is interesting. The changes Takara did to show that this figure is a female are minimal, as this mode was originally tracks. The only changes are at the lower body, right over here, and the upper area, right here, and obviously the head. Well, since we're already here, I am actually confused if the head actually has a concrete place to tab in, because I get annoyed when I have to reposition the head when I want to turn it, or just like accidentally touch it. But it is a good head sculpt. It's really good. Well, that's about mode done. I'm just gonna let her limp there, and time for the accessories, which I only have her gun and the extra side mirrors. Twin Cast is somewhere, but it will take forever to find him. And I lost the original side mirrors. That is what happens when you have a figure for almost 8 years left to someone who is still quite young. Anyways, gun is an unorthodox design that uses this tab, if you can see it, to tab into this part here, like so. And there we go. Now it actually looks like the hand is integrated into the gun itself. So sort of like in Prime, where the gun sort of transforms out of their hands, like Cyborg in Teen Titans. I also really like to pose her with this gun, mostly because she is one of the rare figures that I have that can do this. Having the other hand hold the barrel. Like I already mentioned, not many of my figures can do that. These are self-explanatory, so let's move on to articulation. 360 rotation with tilting head. Wings can be positioned however you want. You can move it out of the way for the arms, but first they have a butterfly joint. They can rotate this much, but then they clash a lot. Goes out this much, elbow swivel, less than 90-degree bend, rotating hands that open. Waist swivel, the legs are out and back this much. A very tight thigh swivel due to me not using them at all. A 90-degree knee bend, ankle pivot, barely, with up and down movement. a lot of down. And the leg spread is good too. And now, time for the transformation. Yeah, this is one of the problems. You can tell they started with a C3 Corvette and tried to turn into a robot, as it's almost perfect. Really, the only bit is just this that's sticking out. But other than that, great. Of course, there are some problems like the hood that doesn't really line up, and due to age, the pinwheels have rusted. Although not these. What these right here? Weird. The transformation was not extremely complicated, just a bit hard to do on camera, and everything taps together relatively well, even though this is almost a decade old. Now, if you have noticed, you can actually tap something in the interior of the car. On tracks, that was both Blaster and the Blaster, while here, it's only twin cars, which I don't have. Also, the place where they plug it in is the rear of the bot on both versions. Just an observation. Now, for flight mode. And I have a question about it. Does this make Tracks and, by association, Road Rage an Omnibot? Think about it. The Omnibots have robot and vehicle modes, as well as an attack mode. One of them even looks like he could even fly. The red one, the one that transforms into a Ferrari. And the one that I feel like has the weirdest robot mode? No, not the weirdest robot mode. I think the weirdest one is the one that transforms into what I think is either I think it's a 3rd gen Supra. I think the best robot mode is the one that transforms into the 3rd gen Celica. It's the one that not 3rd gen, the Celica. I'm not sure what these arm placement things. I just put them at the neck, the 2nd setting. Also, the entire car transforms into something else that's still relatively the car, but still does something else that isn't what a car does. Is very masked, isn't it? It's like Matt Tracker's car, where it starts flying. You know, like this. I never really made that connection until really recently, like when I started making this video. I need to fold these wings back. Yeah, I'm still not quite used to this. And yeah, I think this is what it should be. Let's now talk about the flight mode. And it's alright. Nothing outstanding. You can have the gun, flip this up, and plug it in here, like so. There you go. And there was a nose gun that would attach where the license plate would be, but that has also got missing. Yeah, almost a decade, there would be things that would go missing. I can't avoid that. I forgot to film me talking about my thoughts on this figure, and my thoughts are pretty good. Bot mode is the weakest of all three. Next would be the flight mode, because that's just janky. Vehicle mode is, well, great. I would recommend you to get it if you want to, of course, get it for a reasonable price, and hope that person kept all the accessories, unlike me. And that's the review done. I'm a bit unsure what I'm gonna review next. I'll just scour through my collection and see what I feel like doing. And with that, thanks for watching and goodbye.